maybe we have to wait a little while to see Trey Lance, but 2 years? For what it's worth, Lance told me at the draft that he thinks he'll be the best quarterback in this class. Coming up, why Todd McShay thinks 2 years is a ridiculous amount of time to wait to let Lance play. As we welcome you to NFL Live, we've got all kinds of stuff coming your way, including Todd McShay's way too early 2022 mock draft, but it's never too early for that. Find out about a quarterback that you're going to want to know. You see Diana Rossini and Keyshawn Johnson here as well, and let's begin with San Francisco, guys. The 49ers, and one of the biggest questions surrounding Trey Lance is the experience. The number 3 overall pick of the 2021 draft threw just 318 pass attempts in college. That's the fewest by a first-round quarterback in the last 40 years. In fact, he and Mike Vick are the only 2 first-round quarterbacks to throw under 400 pass attempts in college over that span. Also worth noting that Vick only started 2 games in his rookie season. So, Key, you see the lack of collegiate reps. Are you okay with the idea of him sitting for a while, or do you think he needs to get on the field early to go ahead and get better and get some experience?
No, I'm fine with him sitting, Laura. I think when you look at it, you look at that chart right there. That chart says everything. All those quarterbacks except Mark Sanchez as a rookie, Mark wasn't even ready to play, but the team was a veteran team, so all he had to do was hand the ball off and watch them play defense. When you look at Trey Lance, he's coming from the FCS, not the attempts. That's not what I'm worried about. I'm worried about him processing the information from a defensive standpoint, understanding the tight windows in the NFL. It's totally different when you're running away from a 5'7", 160-pound true freshman out of some school in Minnesota, opposed to a grown man with kids that is in the NFL. It's a totally different situation. So when you look at that, Laura, you have to say that is set up right for him. I never felt like he was going in to a Super Bowl ready team to start and take over. I've always felt like a year and a half, 2 years before he becomes a starter, unless something happens to Jimmy G.
Yeah. Hey, Key. Hi, Laura. You know, the way I see this is all the pressure has been put on the quarterback that was going to get picked at that spot, right? Because we know what the 49ers did in terms of a trade and what they gave away to get a quarterback. So Trey Lance has gone from the quarterback with the most pressure on him, probably the night of the draft, to really what looks like the least amount of pressure, because the organization, it seems like, from obviously the owner Jed York down to their head coach Kyle Shanahan, their GM John Lynch, it's almost like they're reading from a script that they've all agreed on, which is, let's take the pressure off. We don't need to add any more pressure to this young rookie who has time to develop, learn our system, and make that transition from college to the NFL, which we all know can be a difficult jump. So this is a really smart move by the Niners right now to go, look, we've got Jimmy G. And the reality is, it may not be 2 years that we need to wait to see Trey Lance. He could play next year, but they have the luxury of Jimmy Garoppolo, a starter. If he's healthy, he's going to be out there. This is smart. Jed York said 2 years. He might as well said 17. It really doesn't matter. It's obvious. The message coming out of San Francisco now is pressure's off.
Yeah, I've been of the mindset, Diana, that I wanted to see Trey Lance immediately just to get him that playing time because he hasn't had it. But when you lay it out like that, it does make a lot of sense that why not make sure that he's got the luxury of not feeling that pressure. Let's get our ESPN senior draft analyst Todd McShay in here. And Todd, what do you make of Jed York's comments that maybe we don't see Trey Lance for a while, maybe even 2 years?
Listen, I don't care about the message. I care about reality. And you look at it, yes, I understand. Trey Lance, 17 starts, FCS, only one game this past season. But when you study the tape, he processes as fast as Mac Jones from Alabama or any other quarterback in this entire class. And again, being real, the last 13 years there have been 39 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. Only 3 of them did not start a game. So history tells us it's a long shot that Lance is not going to start. I get it. Garoppolo's there. He can be a good starter when he's healthy, but he hasn't stayed healthy. So, first of all, I think they're going to try to work him in regardless. Second of all, there's a real good chance Jimmy G gets injured. And third of all, you don't trade all the way up. And even if it was for Mac Jones, and adjust your mindset because Trey Lance blew you away, and then not play him this upcoming season. I think Trey Lance is going to start more games than any other quarterback for San Fran.
I think for day one, Trey Lance was always the 49ers pick. They gave people whatever they wanted to give them to run with. It was never about Mac Jones. I think when you look at it, though, you have to say to yourself, this team is a couple years removed from the Super Bowl. Much like Todd just said, if Jimmy G is to stay healthy, I don't see where Trey Lance is going to be the starter. Yes, if he gets hurt, then you insert him into the lineup. They traded for Jimmy G because they believed in Jimmy G. Yeah, you go out there and you try to get a Deshaun Watson prior to all the allegations, or you try to see what's going on with one of the top quarterbacks in Aaron Rodgers before you make the Trey Lance pick. But at the end of the day, you want this kid to survive in the National Football League. You don't want to put the pressure on him. There's no need to start him early.
Trey Lance's mantra for his whole life has been know your worth. That was instilled in him by his father. He's ready to show what he's all about. And to Todd's point about Jimmy G, he's only been able to start 25 of 48 possible games over the last 3 seasons due to injuries. So you might be right, Todd. All right, Diana, let's get to the latest news around the league, beginning with the situation around Juwan James.
Yeah, the league sent out a letter to all 32 teams today to remind GMs and head coaches about the Juwan James situation. Because here's what happened. We know Juwan James, he was injured when he was away from the facility. So he's most likely going to lose that $10 million guaranteed money because he didn't get injured at the facility. A lot of players didn't even know the rules. They were sounding off on social, so the league wants to make sure players are aware of that. That means on the Detroit Lions, man, Jared Goff has got to be sitting back going, I really like what I got in terms of protection. They signed Frank Ragnow as the highest paid center. He had 2 years left, Laura, on his deal, but they got him signed up. He's going to be now the highest paid center at $54 million guaranteed. So a good day for Detroit. And then, of course, it's going to be a good day for New York because the Jets, they get to see their rookie Zach Wilson. Rookie camps for 3 teams around the league begin tomorrow. And obviously New York has been waiting. We've known for a while that Zach Wilson's the guy, but tomorrow he makes his appearance in the Big Apple as rookie camps begin for 3 teams. The rest of the teams will be next weekend.
Yeah, you remember Zach Wilson's mom being pretty emotional right before he was drafted, just thinking he's going to leave me now because he is. All right, but don't worry, Mom. How about this? New on NFL Live, we have already seen one rookie sign a deal and getting ready to arrive. That would be the Colts and their first-round edge, Kwity Paye. Now, remember, Kwity Paye, when he was drafted, turned to his mom, and said, hey, you don't have to work anymore. Special for Kwity Paye to get that deal signed. And that, of course, is the first rookie deal signed. Still plenty to come on this edition of NFL Live. We're only 1 week away from